I actually first met Judith Kovacs nearly 20 years ago when I began to study and translate the work of Clement of Alexandria into Czech. And at that time, I was captivated by Judith's articles on Clement, and along with Eric Osborne, Annevis van den Hoek, and Laura Rizzerio, Judith was my favorite Clementine author. At that time, however, I was a young scholar and a mother of little children, and I did not think it possible that I would ever meet Judith in person. Then, my more adventurous colleague, Jana Platova, went to a conference in Hungary and met Judith there. And this pleasant encounter then encouraged her to come up with the idea of organizing a conference in the Czech Republic at our theological faculty in Olomouc, devoted to the 7th book of the Stromates by Clement of Alexandria, whose annotated translation Jana and I were working on together. This conference, whose main organizers besides Jana were also Matyáš Havrda and Vít Hušek, took place in October 2010, and it was there that I had my first opportunity to hear Judith and talk with her. Coincidentally, my husband and I helped Judith to get from the hotel to the train station after the conference, and this first personal encounter has remained in my heart as a precious memory. 4 years later, when we organized the Clementine conference in Olomouc again, this time on the topic of Clement's biblical exegesis with Jana Platova and Vít Hušek, Judith was already our closest collaborator and then co-editor of the book of proceedings that resulted from the conference. Our gratitude for the support of Clementine's scholarship in Czech Republic surely belongs also to many other scholars, but first of all to Judith. What has always impressed me most about Judith's work is her honest theological and philological approach, the purity or clarity of her thinking, her knowledge of the New Testament and the writings of the Church Fathers, and above all, her deep insight into Clement's work. I perceived her to be an excellent disciple of Clement. Her research, as her approach to people, was full of inquisitiveness and desire to know, full of respect and openness to the dialogue, full of modesty and as well as unambiguity, optimism and cheerfulness, full of savoring the things of the world, while at the same time acknowledging an even greater value for the things that this world cannot give to us. What her scholarly work completely lacked was self-centeredness. We are indebted to Judith not only for advancing our understanding of Clement's exegesis of Paul's epistles and his dialogue with the Valentinian Gnostics, and not only for building relationships among scholars engaged in the study of Clement, but also for her personal example of dedication, collegiality, and wisdom. Thank you, Judith.
So, as far as our first memories about Judith are concerned, we must go back to the Czech Republic, Olomouc, in 2014, where, thanks to the organizers, Vít Hušek, Veronika Černíšková, and Jana Platova, we had the chance to meet her personally and got to know in her a very open and discreet woman who was curious about the young scholars and never ever looked down on them. Obviously, we had known her name earlier. Her articles had already formed my husband's thoughts. So actually, we were just really anxious to get to know this extraordinary Hungarian scholar, as we proudly thought that with the name Kovacs, she must be Hungarian. The fact, however, as thanks to God later time proved, that we didn't speak to the same language did not mean that we wouldn't understand each other's souls and thoughts. When my husband invited her to an international patristic conference into Hungary, Nyíregyháza, she accepted it without hesitation and came with her beloved David. I really found it exemplary how they respected each other's personality and scholastic activity as well, how brave they were to admit each other's strong points and tell what they had learned from each other. Some of you might know that the day after her brilliant lecture in our institute, David unexpectedly had to be brought into hospital in Nyíregyháza, and his life was really endangered. Thus, Judith became part of our family for a few weeks, in which period we could really get to know her and made a real deep friendship with her. It was so memorable how she took care of David, organized his treatment in cooperation with the Hungarian and American doctors, and at the same time she became like a third grandma to my children. Actually, she was called Aunt Blah Blah, as my youngest son understood nothing of her words, but he did understand her emotions and great love. It was really touching how sincerely curious she was about us all the time. Even in the most difficult moments, she did not give up her hope. She always concentrated on the next practical tasks and solutions. However, she accepted God's will. I think the same happened when she became ill. She had never been the slave of her illness. She was strongest than the illness because she wanted to live for those who were close to her. She always searched the way to help others, which made her remain strong. After David's recovery, they could travel safely back home, and we received many messages and thankful letters from them and from their family. However, we are those who have to express our gratitude to God for that we could know her, as we received a sincere friend and an always good intentioned, caring relative in her.
Beside these, regarding the scholar Judith Kovacs, I must add that she was the person who really could pay attention. When she read or proofread my articles, she never gave up her desire to understand completely all my thoughts. Therefore, she asked me numerous sincere questions, which was not inconvenient, but rather a great honor for me. It shows how open and interested she was in other people and their ideas. Reading her scholastic articles, the following thoughts come to my mind: perfectionist, profound, exact, who always wanted to present the topic to the readers without placing herself into the center. It took for her really hard work to accomplish this scientific perfection, but she never intended to be populist. In her works, we can always find the most perfect exploration of the given topics, while she also always had a message about God or faith. Thus, her works, on the one hand, resulted in invaluable academic fruits, which we will enjoy long in the future. On the other hand, they also serve as a spiritual retreats. For me, Judith Kovacs is the example of the true master. Thanks to God, I could now hear.
Now we have a second video that is 4 minutes long. Just a technical check. Could you hear the audio, the first video? No.
Yes.
Less. So. Oops. Okay. So we repeat the first one, if you agree. Okay. And sorry, now the Argentinians saved us. Okay. So now we go here. Let's go this way. And now you say share.
For example, I think what I want to center on in talking about Paul and Gregory is dying and rising with Christ, which actually is a pretty big theme. But I mean, what I would like to make a little clearer is how much, this comes right out of Paul. And it's pretty essential to Paul. And, Gregory really has noticed that. And I don't know if it would be a good text to discuss, but I just read in the homilies on Ecclesiastes, where Gregory gathers all these Paul texts. And I mean, it would be interesting to me to discuss this text with other people. Yeah.
So I hope that you have been able to listen, also not just watch. And the silly laugh below Judith's voice belonged to me, because we were in a Zoom meeting with a bad connection, but with Ilaria too. But now our connection with Judith is perfect, so we have no problems anymore. And I laughed when she said that death and resurrection in Paul are a serious topic, and watching the video again now is touching, and I have no words to express it. So we have a second video that is 4 minutes long. It's a little bit longer. That also is important for the conference, I would say, because here she makes like a draft of what she was going to write, but she couldn't here. But I'm pretty sure that is a kind of heritage, that a legacy that she has given to us. So just one sec.
What I would really want to do, and I'll probably cut down how many texts I deal with. I'd like to start out with Paul, and because that's not really common knowledge. I mean, Paul and all of what I'd like to do is be able to write a paper that on different aspects of my topic, says something about Paul, and then how that grabs Gregory, but he definitely extends what Paul says. And I don't know whether Paul would like it or not, but I think he would like a lot of it. And it's definitely constructive theology. It's not, I don't know if you know what I meant by proof texting, but there's a lot of proof texting in in patristic exegesis, that you kind of know what you think, and then you go to Paul, and he's a very good proof text. Another thing is, all the fathers that I've been working on, certainly Clement and Gregory, they say amazingly laudatory things about Paul. But I think from the ones I've worked on, and I'm leaving Augustine out of it, I'm thinking about the Greeks, that he's the one I've encountered who most really wrestles with Paul. And I think it's really worth seeing that in Gregory. Anyway, I don't know.
To me, that Clement uses Paul to prove something that he has in his mind is very clear. But do you think that Clement is doing the same, or you're just saying that Gregory does exactly the opposite? That Gregory starts from Paul and then start thinking about what Paul says. I guess pretty much, except that Gregory does have his own system that he's building. But I really think that. I think he thinks with Paul, and I also think it's hard to see this because he doesn't really quote very much. He doesn't, compared to Clement, he doesn't quote the Bible much at all. And yet, writing after writing, you can see that it's all about a biblical text. So much of it, and often, but it's not even signaled. And it's no wonder people haven't seen it, in my view, enough. Now, I don't know all of Gregory the way you all do.
So these are the videos, and we will also think on what Judith said. And maybe, I don't know if Piotr wanted to say something, or Lauristerio, or Lenka, or Mattia Chavra, or anybody. Vit, maybe.
From here, we might have some others who want to add something. We are all moved, actually, as we can see that many of you are. So, well, actually, we're trying to take seriously Judith's legacy, and we have been studying quite hard in these days. I don't know if David wants to tell us something about Judith's work in this period in which we were organizing these Zoom conferences with her and asking her to keep following our research. And she was very generous with her time and strength, because actually she didn't have a lot, but she was dedicating us many hours actually on this platform. So we're very grateful for that. And actually this conference is like something that is really made by them, by her as well as by us.
Yes, did you want me to say something?
Yes, please, David, if you like.
Yes, well, I'm full of gratitude to you all for organizing this. This was the culmination of something that she was part of the planning group that was organizing, and it would have given her great pleasure to know that it took place. I can think of many reasons to feel very grateful to Judith, to you all, and among them is that, well, one of the early New Testament scholars, whose name I've now forgotten, said in a lapidary Latin phrase, "Studia abeunt in mores." Our studies make a contribution to our character. I feel that this applies to the study of patristics. Studia abeunt in fidem. The studies make a contribution to our faith. I know Judith appreciated this characteristic of the conferences that she was a part of, that they were held within the context of the Christian faith. We were trying to look at what the church fathers had to say also within a faith context and profit from it. And so that is a very beautiful thing. And that's about, that's probably as much time as you want me to have. So I will stop now.
Thanks a lot, David. And maybe we can say goodbye, and we can remember together Judith, and we will keep working. And our intention is also to publish a wonderful picture of her in the proceedings. Maybe we will ask for help and to dedicate the proceedings to Judith, because it's right, and it's an honor and a pleasure. Also, I appreciated a lot of her curiosity. So she always was asking big questions in a very polite and delicate way, but sometimes she could give in, but never give up. So the question was always there, the good question, the big question. And it was a wonderful experience to talk with her. And now Laura Rizzerio, who cannot speak now, has just written in the chat that she has a wonderful memory, an extraordinary memory of Judith, and that she got moved watching the video. She has a good connection, and she is saying that Judith was a real didaskalos, that in Clement of Alexandria, a father well studied a lot by Judith, is something very important. And because the didaskalos doesn't make discourses, doesn't talk too much, or neither he gives definitions, but shows the way and comes with you. So it's wonderful what she's saying. So thanks a lot. If you want to say something, you are welcome. We are here together, even if through the internet and far away, but very close, I would say, also in our hearts. Ellen, do you want to say something, if you like? I saw you with the drawings of your daughter.
I'll say a few words. This has been so moving. My mom got so much energy and joy talking and getting to know others. And attending conferences like these was always her favorite. It was like this other world, like alternate universe, or I don't know. I can still picture and hear her, the phone conversations that I would have when she came back from Rome or the Czech Republic or Hungary or wherever it happened to be, and just how her excitement of the many languages that were spoken and the deep conversation that was had, and it was just in many ways her supreme happy place that she had. So I think in a lot of ways you were really all of you, all of the scholars in this room or this Zoom universe were like another family for her in a really special, deep, deep way. So just know that, and you know this, I'm sure, that she loved and admired all of you so very much. And even especially throughout her cancer treatments, it was so moving to have the recordings of the Zoom preparation meetings that you were having, that you saw her, that she was throughout her going through chemo, and she was still keeping this up, and it really sustained her in some very impactful ways. So thank you for putting this on. It was just such an important part of us honoring all parts of her life. So thank you.
Thank you, Ellen. Was very reciprocal. We wish to be able to share more sections of the videos, but it takes a lot of time, and we had short time in between all the last preparation of the conference. So we will surely work on it a little bit more, and maybe share the videos with you through Ellen in future time, not too much later on. So well,
Someone here wants to say something?
No. Oh, I think Francisco Bastita would like to add a little thought. Francisco
Hello.
is from Argentina.
Hello, everyone. It's just a little experience. I had read a lot by Judith, and I met her in Paris in 2018. And actually, we were walking together, and she said, "Did you have dinner?" "No, I haven't." "Do you want to have dinner?" "Okay," I said. It was like a dream come true for me. And so we didn't speak so much about academic stuff. She asked me about my family, and she told me a lot about her family. And it was a beautiful encounter. I couldn't identify more with what was said about her taking seriously young scholars. And I appreciated her sense of awe, and wanted to know everything about my research or what I thought about this or about that. It was really an amazing experience. And beside her sense of awe and happiness and that smile that was like, I don't know, eternal, she was also so playful. And she said, "Do you know what? Tomorrow there's a concert with a great organ in Notre Dame, in Notre Dame. Let's go there." There she is. I think she was wearing that dress, actually. I think it was that date. So let's ask the others, and let's go. And in the end, it was just the two of us. So, and I remember the experience of listening to that great organ that some months later was burnt down with a church. And it was really a meaningful experience for me, especially in the years which came afterwards. So I want to thank you really to all the family for having shared Judith's time with us and her humanity. Thank you.
So thanks a lot. Maybe it's time to close. The conference should go on, but we thank you. I have no words to express our gratitude and how grateful we are to you, all of you, and for sharing the love of Judith with us somehow. And we keep this memory together, and we keep working as I think she wants us to do. So thanks a lot. Bye-bye, and God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Let's meet again. Goodbye.
Mille grazie.